an adult show, and if you ain't one of them, it's probably time to go. This is an adult show, yeah, this is an adult show, and if you ain't one of them, it's probably time to go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this weird corner of the internet. Except those who are easily offended. People who don't like bad form. People who take life too seriously.
You'll never make it out of here alive.
Anyways, letting rest.
Welcome.
Our not at all humble host, Hickory, the dang and underwhelming.
TDAU live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. And we got the surprise guest on the show tonight. That's right. Even discount Walmart Santa didn't realize we were going to have a guest tonight. It's the last show of the year. We're ringing out 2024, motherfuckers. It's about time. Oh, I swore the YouTube algorithm is going to hate that the first 3 minutes, but I don't care. I didn't monetize this shit anyways. We have a show to get into. We're going to talk about 2024, our past things, what we're hoping for this year. It's kind of like a New Year's and Christmas thing together. That's right. Beard isn't quite white enough to pull off Santa. I look like young Santa, which is quite the difference because I look like old Hickory anytime I don't have this much red and white with lights on because this beard is white, makes me look old as shit. Anyways, yeah. GW's here. It's going to be a fun show. We got a bit to get into, and we're just going to talk some shit. To be honest, I haven't caught up with GW in a while. I mean, other than I saw him this past week. But other than that, we haven't caught up on the show in a while. So, let's get to it, bitches. Let's go.
Yeah, back, baby.
Are you saying you want to show me your tits?
This is the story of a drunk who grew up kind of a punk, and then all his friends left him, and now he's here alone. This is the story of a drunk who grew up kind of punk, now he's here doing the dang and underwhelming live show.
This is a weird show.
Dang and underwhelming live show. Dang and underwhelming live show. Dang, 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 dang and underwhelming live show.
Yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. This is the Dank and Underwhelming Live Show. Welcome back. It's episode 21B. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, with my esteemed guest, Mr. GW Foley.
Hi. How's it going?
It's been a while, G-Dubs.
Yeah, how's it going, man?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have a special guest dropping by later, but yeah, the show.
Who knows?
This show clearly spent all the budget this year, so we couldn't afford to hire Saucy Santa on. We were like, "Hey, man, can you come on?" And Saucy Santa was like, "You can't even pick up a fifth." And I was like, "No, dude, I'm sorry, we're broke at this point." It's no, to be honest, I was too lazy and didn't get shit together, to be honest. I'll do better next year. That's my New Year's resolution, is I'll be a better show host. I'll run a better show next year. I'll have Sean on more next year. I'll try my best. And by try my best, I mean, like, I'll put in like a fifth more effort. Literally a fifth more effort. But G-Dubs, how you been, man?
Feeling tired from my jet-setting lifestyle.
Yeah, you've been all over the country. Well, at least the east coast of it.
Yeah. It's I miss Vermont. Shit's cold there.
Although I gotta say, the past 2 days have been like mid 40s and like wet. I mean, like today it was like raining all day. It was sunny until midday, and then it just rained all night. And it rained. It didn't snow. Like, it's December 18th, and it didn't snow. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call this rain a wind right now.
It was 75 and sunny today.
Oh. That sounds nice. Is it like... So, I was in Florida. It was for like 2022, I think. We're in Florida for March with the family on vacation. It was like the first time I've ever visited the great state of freedom, known as Florida. But first time, and I was on my birthday. It was March 14th. To be clear, for anybody who wants to send me a gift, yeah, over here, HickoryTDAU, just shoot me an email and I'll send you my address. But I was down there and like it was like 80 degrees out, and my entire family was like, I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach. Like it's March and we're from Vermont. We all want to go to the beach. And I was like, I don't want to go to the beach, dude. I want to go to like some cool restaurants and get drunk. like, 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 I'm a simpleton. I don't care about sand and water. They were like, oh no, we got to do it. Like it's March and we're from Vermont. Like that's something you can't do up here. Like you can only go to the beach and enjoy the water for like 2 months a year if you're like Vermont
Lucky.
adjacent, New Hampshire, Maine. Like there's like 2 months of the year where it's like it doesn't suck to go in the water in the ocean. They're all like, we got to do that. We got to do that. And literally that was a day where it was like full sun. There was very little cloud cover. And to be honest, it fucking hurt. like it was one of those things. And I don't know if it was because like I hadn't built up to it because I'm like, I didn't have like April, May, June, July to like get ready for the sun before I was like full bore, like August, September, like let's go hang out, and just trunks by the pool. But like there was points where I looked at my wife and I was like, does this heat feel oppressing to you? Like, I feel like I'm being oppressed by Mother Nature right now. Like, does it feel like that down there when it's full sun? Does the sun hurt your skin if you stay out for like longer than an hour? And not just you, because like you're a ginger. So I don't want to put that just on you because imagine the sun hurts your skin anywhere. But I mean, like just in general, like for instance, your wife, who is not ginger, as far as I know.
No, she is not ginger.
No, she's a traitor.
Yeah.
No. But does it hurt her skin if she goes out on a day like today, in a modest short sleeve? Like, is she gonna complain about how the sun feels if she was just to sit out on a patio chair for an hour in full sun? Because that's how I felt.
Not this time of year.
Okay.
This time of year, like we had the windows open today, and just like the fans going and the windows open. So it's less humidity than the summertime. So like going outside, like it's not like sitting underneath a magnifying glass with all the humidity.
Oh, we got the wiener on the show. That's all I wanted for Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Put your hands together.
Say hi. Say hi.
Oh, give yourself a proper introduction, Murph. Oh, look at that. GW's wiener is feisty tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you come back for more.
Give a big thumbs up down below for GW's wiener.
Yes.
Saying, it's been a while.
I know. Everyone loves saying my wiener.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody on the show for sure.
Yeah.
Even if Sean shows up late, he's going to be upset. We're going to have to pull it up from earlier in the show. Wait, I didn't see GW's wiener. GW was on the show and I didn't see his wiener.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So heat wise, it's not bad right now, but come May, it's sunburn season.
Yeah. See, March wasn't the heat because I was comfortable walking around. I was comfortable covered. I was comfortable in a shirt and a hat and walking around like I normally do. But the second I took my shirt off at the beach, I was like, wow, my shoulders hurt instantly. It was instantaneous. It was within 30 seconds. I was like, wow, this sucks. Yeah. I don't understand why you people want to do this.
So they have this thing down here that we don't get a lot of up north. It's called sunblock.
No, that's fair. And I probably should have applied more. And that being said, I do apply it regularly in the summer up here because I have, although not a ginger, I am fairly fair-skinned.
Yeah.
and burn easily. Unlike one of my siblings, the other sibling is just like that. Like she's fair skinned and burns easy. But the middle sibling, sorry, the youngest sibling in my crowd has like olive, like she basically has Mediterranean skin. Like she doesn't get sunburn. She just gets like this nice dark glow. But the downside is when it leaves, it like almost leaves in patches.
Yeah.
So she'll have like 2 months where she's losing her tan, and it's just like she looks like camo. The beautiful assistant, laughing, crying face. Yeah, because I'm talking about the Florida sun, which I clearly can't handle because I'm a good old Yankee boy. I actually called a company in Florida today for my professional job for the drunken enrollments work life. And so I'm ordering some caviar, right? And I ordered this product called Siberian Berry, which I've been now told that it's pronounced berry, but it's spelt Bareii. So in my brain, it's pronounced beret. Like
Yeah.
it's all like it's almost like it's French, like the French hat or that's a French hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
The military hat, like the one that Jamie from MythBusters wears.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Beret.
Yeah, beret. So I'm ordering, and I'm like, I want 5 each of the 1 ounce jars of Siberian Beret. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And the chick's like, you got close. And I was like, sorry, I come from a long line of white trash. Just to be clear, we're not really the caviar type. We're more of the Kraft mac and cheese type in my herd. And she said the sweetest thing that made me feel so comfortable in the moment. Like, great customer service today. She was just like, yeah, when I started here, I didn't really know how to pronounce much of these things either. I was just like, dude, thank you for making me feel not like a white trash piece of shit, because I'm literally ordering $2,000 worth of caviar. And that's how I feel normally. It's just white trash as hell when I'm trying to pronounce these things. And I know what they are. You know what I mean? Like, I know that beret is like a berry. It's a breed of sturgeon that they harvest eggs from, and that's what caviar is. Like, I know all the background to it because I'm a professional and I like know what I'm doing. But the pronunciation on some stuff, I'm just like, yeah, that's close enough. I'm just gonna phone it in from here.
Well, and if you're used to reading things and like you don't look it up, it makes sense. Like there's a
absolutely.
lot of words that like I assume mise en scene, like term from school. I always called it mezzanine. Like
Yeah, because that's how it's spelled.
yeah, and no, it's mise en scene.
Sean is here. So do you not have to pull up your 4-foot wiener again? I witnessed it firsthand. GW, good to see you. Hoping all is going well. Thank you for being here,
Hey,
Sean.
Sean, how's it going?
Cheers. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Oh, there we go. There's
I don't
comments.
think that was an actual line in the movie. I forget what he said. Something. Did he say Merry Christmas, you filthy animals? I remember after rewatching those movies as an adult, I had to look up and see if the movie that they played in those movies was real. And it was like, no, it was just a thing they shot for those movies. I was like, man, I would have liked to watch those movies.
Yes.
It was like one of the first times I realized, like, hey, they created this thing for media. And I wish, the beautiful assistant says yes, I was correct. It was the first time in media where I was like, oh man, I wish they had made the movie that goes in this movie, because that would create some real backlore, even if it wouldn't have done well in the box office. To create a 1920s gangster movie to sell a 1990s holiday movie, you know, the true fans would have been out there watching it.
Yeah. That's well, that's kind of like the the Quentin Tarantino, Rodriguez, what's his name?
Like the
Robert,
yeah
the grindhouse movies that they did.
like
where
how they
had the-
produced a bunch of fake trailers that ultimately
Yeah.
became real movies.
Yeah,
No, I love that. Like that makes me happy as an artist. Like to see somebody have this like throwaway idea that was like, hey, let's make a trailer for a movie called Hobo with a Shotgun. Because that's one of my favorite ones that came out of the Grindhouse series. GW, have you seen Hobo with a Shotgun?
yeah.
And-
Oh no, sorry.
Oh no, I'm ready.
I've seen it twice,
Fair
and the
enough.
second
I think-
time I got bored.
I don't blame you because it does drag on towards the middle.
Yeah,
Like before the like after the initial sequence and the first act where he like goes through some shit and he's like the hobo in a new town and he's decided he's gonna turn his life around and he goes to the pawn shop and eventually realizes that the lawnmower is the same price as a shotgun. And the whole sequence of like him becoming the hobo with the shotgun. In between that and when like I think there's two characters named the Plague who are just like ruthless BDSM killing machines
yes,
show up. Like that second, or I wanted to say second half. The second third in between those parts like is kind of slow.
yeah,
Like it felt like they came up with the first and third what is it called? Triads of a movie. Yeah,
The first
the first
and
and third acts of the movie, and then the second one just kind of like they had to piece together to make it work.
I will tell you, there has been multiple times in my life where I've had to do that. Where like I get like the idea for like a really cool scene, and I'm like, how do I make this scene possible? And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That movie is like a key script on that, even though they nailed scene one or act 1 and 3. Like to be fair, like act 1 and 3, beautiful. If they had just tightened up or made act 2 a little more fast paced, like they could have cut down 10 minutes on movie time and it would have been far more engaging.
Yeah,
But I also understand that like you've got to make a movie that's like feature length. You know what I mean? Like you're set to like unfortunately, you're set to like a generic time space in filmmaking or TV for that matter.
yeah,
Where it's like, hey, you've got like TV, you've got 22 minutes or 3 minutes to tell a story.
yeah,
And that's what you got, and you're locked in because we're gonna take 17 minutes and just show commercials that nobody cares about. So you gotta have 43 minutes like on the nose, and that includes like your intro, your outro, and your credits.
yep,
And yeah, no, it sucks that art is pigeonholed like that a lot of the time, which is great because alternative media is coming up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people now watch stuff online or even streaming. I've seen some movies recently that were like 70 minutes, you know? And I'm like, hey, you know, if that's what the director and the producer wanted, or they were only able on their budget to create 70 minutes of good footage, I'm totally cool with that. I'll watch a 70-minute movie any day over a fucking 200-minute movie that Hollywood produced.
yeah.
Half the time I'm just getting bored. Like they're just padding runtime with shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think there's a sweet spot of like a half hour where like depending on the script, like a half hour could be really great. But then again, like I have seen films where 10 minutes was way too much. So
Yeah.
Me personally, like I like 3-minute movies. They're easy to film. they're like the premise is really simple, and like you can tell a lot in 3 minutes.
Amen. Sean's in the comments saying Home Alone should have ended with the parents being thrown in jail and the other children taken from them. The rich get away with some of the crazy shit. Yeah, but then we went on a home with if that happened, Sean, we went and had Home Alone 2 that not only featured the pigeon lady, the famous pigeon lady of New York, which I still haven't looked up to realize, like, see if the pigeon lady was the real pigeon lady or is the lady they paid to act like the pigeon lady.
I think it was like an actual actress that played the part.
Which wouldn't surprise me, but they did hire the real Donald Trump. Which kind of made my heart go, "Aw." I miss back in the day where you could hire like a New York celebrity and he wasn't demonized 20 years later because he ran for president. I guess 30 years later, technically. But yeah, it takes you back to the time where like you're like, holy shit, Donald Trump was just like a cultural phenomenon at that point. Just a dude from New York who was synonymous with New York enough that they were like, hey man, we're making this Christmas movie based in New York. We gotta get this guy into it. He's synonymous with hotels. This kid's staying in a New York hotel, and we're gonna put him in it.
I just think, they should have got like, the parents are Home Alone.
Home Alone 2 should have just been the parents trying to get their kids back in court. But maybe I'm just too biased. Oh, thank you, Sean. That's fucking hysterical.
Have you seen the short film that Macaulay Culkin did? This was a while ago when he had like long hair and looked kind of like a ragamuffin. He did a movie where it was him as Kevin from Home Alone, but in his 20s.
Oh.
And he's in the back of an Uber smoking a cigarette and like having this whole conversation about like how like he had to fend off his family home from intruders and like and like
no, but
like,
that's hysterical.
Yeah, he talks about all the psychological damage that happened. He's like, yeah, because he hangs up like his mom calls and like he ignores a call, and the Uber driver's like, "Oh, that's cold-blooded," and he's like, "Cold-blooded, cold-blooded. You know what cold-blooded is? Leaving your kid home alone."
Oh, that's hysterical. No, yeah. I did see the. He was in an episode of American Horror Story. Or not in an episode. He was in a series of American Horror Story. And that was pretty good. It was when they were doing... they did a split season. I forget what it was called. So it was like the first time they ever took American Horror Story and like split it into 2 parts and did 2 completely different stories with different actors throughout the series. So like the first half was like 1 6-part miniseries, and the second half was another 6. It might have been 6, could have been 8. I don't remember, but they did 2 different stories, and the first one was this really cool. Like I am a sucker for when people reach back and take historical stuff and bolden it out. So it was about like aliens actually coming down in Roswell in '69 and how Nixon and Woodrow Wilson and JFK all dealt with this. And it was like set back then. And it was pretty cool. The second half was about literal vampires writing scripts, or to be clear, not necessarily vampires. Yeah, it was vampires. People who fed off the blood of people living in P-Town who were writers for different stuff. And Macaulay Culkin was in that second half. And it might have been the first half, but I think it was the second half. And it was really good. Like I was like, holy shit, this kid can still act really, really well. No matter what he's gone through or what he's been through being a kid in Hollywood. Because Lord knows I don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah, yeah. No, he kind of pulled his shit together in the last few years. Like he's married now, has a couple kids. I think he does like podcasting. Very Haley Joel Osment. That makes sense.
John said, I definitely would demand that Kevin went to the psychologist. I would argue he was quite the psychopath. Some of the booby traps he came up with as an 8-year-old.
That
On the flip
was just
side-
Looney Tunes, man.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do? Like, I'm surprised he didn't go harder on some of them. When I rewatch it as an adult, I'm like, yeah, no, I would have just tried to end them right there. I might have come up with the same thing, but I might have come up with something way meaner. Especially in the second one, which is, we watched recently again, and there's some very, very mean traps in both of them, to be clear. There's some very, very mean traps. But like in the second one, it's almost taken to like a comical level. Like in the first one, you kind of like feel the pain for the robbers. You know, like
Yeah.
Pesci and the other guy, I can't remember that actor's name.
Daniel Stern.
Yeah. So Pesci and Stern, like you kind of feel like I shouldn't feel bad about these guys trying to rob this house that this little kid's alone in. But in the second one, it gets to like such a comical level where like I watched it the other night. There's one point where Stern goes to turn on some like a faucet, and Kevin has rigged it to an arc welder because that's something all 8-9-year-olds know how to do is probably rig up an arc welder. But he goes to turn on this faucet, and his two hands connect the circuit from the arc welder. Which, for anybody who's arc welded knows, like, nothing to play around with. Like, you don't fuck with that. Like, you make sure you know what you're doing, or you're, like, in the presence of somebody else who knows what they're doing. Like, it's some serious electricity, let alone welding and, like, the whole part that you could blind yourself real easy if you don't know what you're doing. Just the electricity aspect. Like, you don't fuck with it. Stern reaches in and turns on the two faucets, which are connected, positive and negative with the arc welder, and goes into such a violent convulsion that at one point they cut to not just him, like they cut to him and his hair poofs out. And then they cut back to his hands, and then they cut back to him, and it's literally a skeleton with a beard and his hair on it shaking. And I was like, holy shit, this is absolutely, like, this movie turned, like, it's not just mean, it's like a cartoon mean. This is totally Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner at this point in the second one.
Yeah, yeah.
That being said,
you kind of have to be.
Yeah, to bring up the shock value over the first one.
Yeah, because like there was a certain amount of realism in the first one, but like the second one, like you have to top the first, so you have to do like bigger stuff, and this is the problem that Jackass has.
Oh, absolutely.
Where like you constantly have to outdo yourself. And so like in order to do that, like you couldn't have him realistically like shown like realistically electrifying himself and keep it PG rating.
No, absolutely. That's totally fair.
I mean, it sounds like a fun movie to make. It'd be like fucking
The real
Saw.
Home Alone is like a Saw movie where Kevin rigs up like a sawzall on a trigger, just like cuts their arm off.
Well, think about the blowtorch scene in the first one.
Oh,
Like-
even was it the blowtorch scene in the second one got me too, because I was like, was it the second one? I can't remember. I think it was the second one where like the blowtorch catches a hat on fire.
No, that's the first.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
And then instead of just taking the hat off, he decides to do a handstand on the toilet and dunk his head in it, which is somehow has a bunch of explosive material in it. I would assume alcohol or paint thinner or something. I don't know. But it blows the entire bathroom out. But the entire time I was thinking, it was like, bro, would you not just take your hat off? like that would be like the first reaction. If I looked in a mirror and saw my hat was on fire, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the hat off. I'll deal with the fire part afterwards. But like no part in my brain, I was like, okay, so that's the suspension of disbelief. I'm willing to work with that. But yeah, even that was like that would have that's cruel. The tar on the steps one didn't seem that mean until you really thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, like coating the steps with tar and realizing that somebody would get stuck like a fly trap and would tear off their shoes and their socks until it got to their bare feet. But then there's some. Sorry.
And then you put a nail down.
Yeah. But then there's some like playful ones that are like totally normal for a kid that age. Like, oh, I'm going to cover the steps in ice. Like, okay, that seems like totally rational for an 8-year-old to come up with. Having the paint can swing from a rope down the stairs seems like pretty normal. You know, that would be something I think I would come up with as an 8-year-old. But yeah, the second one got ridiculous. And then, to be honest, I haven't watched the third and the fourth because I'm pretty sure Macaulay Culkin's not involved.
No. I didn't know there was a fourth one. I knew there was a third one.
I haven't looked it up. I've just
different kid.
I've just heard there was a third and a fourth. I haven't verified. John said, how many kids watched that movie and attempted some of those traps?
Clearly not enough.
I mean, I haven't seen articles on it, so I can't imagine it was that many. Although that was back in the 90s where like some of that stuff would have just been a prank. Like exploding light bulbs probably wouldn't have been such a big deal in 93, 94. Nowadays that's you'd have a judge take your kid away for that. Which I should have pulled up, which was one of the things I saw. The Cash, Children for Cash, or Kids for Cash lawyer, sorry, the Kids for Cash judge got pardoned. Apparently had like 2 more years in the sentence. He had 17 years served, and he got out on a couple years ago because of COVID, and had to stay at home the rest of his sentence, and then his sentence got commuted because Biden's doing a whole bunch of commuting and pardons for people who I guess have served their penalty to society. But that was one that irked me real bad. I don't know if you saw that, G-Dubs. Yeah.
No,
I believe me, it's hard to pay attention to all this shit because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't even give a fuck. Like Trump did it, Obama did it, Bush did it, Clinton did it. Like, it's all about them favorites, baby.
Yeah, there's been some especially rough ones this administration. This was Pennsylvania mother infuriated after Biden commutes sentence for Kids for Cash judge. Ruined my son's life. A Pennsylvania mother took aim at President Biden after he commuted the president's sentence for a corrupt judge who imposed sentences on juveniles in exchange for millions of dollars in return. This dude literally sold prison sentences for kids. He got, to be clear, he assigned prison sentences to children that probably shouldn't have been. or at least went firmer on them for kickbacks from the juvenile detention center. To the tune of like 2,800 children. I think we might get into that later. Then Ivanzo's son, Wardrow we're not going to pronounce that, took his own life after having spent 8 months in juvenile detention, and she joined Fox and Friends to reveal her message to the president. Joe Biden came here and campaigned multiple times. He was Joe Scranton. He was one of us. He knew our struggles and he cared about our community and our kids and our families, and that is just absolutely not true, Fonzo said, told Steve Ducey on Monday. He is not one of us. Fonzo called for reform of the system relegated to presidential pardons and commutations. I want to see his name removed because that's just another slap in the face, another injustice on top of all the grief that everybody in this community has already endured, she continued. And what came to be known as the Kids for Cash scandal, former Judge Michael Conahan shut down a county-run juvenile detention center and shared $2.8 million in illegal payments from the builder and co-owner of 2 for-profit lockups. So yeah, he got $2.8 million to lock up children. And a lot of the cases are like things where you're like, yeah, no, kids probably shouldn't go to jail for that.
Yeah. No, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
The one whose mom is especially aggrieved, who ended up removing himself from the gene pool, he like a star lacrosse player who got caught with a pot pipe, and they sent him to fucking juvie for 8 months. Even though that probably should have just been a slap on the hand sentence, and they should have just dealt with it with their family. Like, holy shit. That's there was also another person pardoned who was a Chinese national who had like 57,000 images of child exploitation and torture, who is now just going to be let out of jail and sent on back home to China. Which, who knows? Trying times, anyways.
Well, maybe we get something for that one.
God, I hope so. On the flip side, dude, we traded the Lord of War gun trader from Russia for Brittany Griner, the WNBA star who may or may not have an Adam's apple. So, like, I'm not gonna hope for much in this administration, to be fair. Not that I hope for much in any administration. To be clear, to throw that out there. GW, did you know that Biden pardoned me? I'll no longer be held accountable for the YouTube comments I made over the past 4 years, which proves I was right all the time. Sean, but you deserve it, Sean. You're a great asset to this channel. I'm not going to lie. By that, I don't mean a Russian or Soviet asset, but just the kind we like. Which means a based asset. Sorry, what?
Big old asset. Bouncy asset.
I was going to say a based asset, but big old asset works for me. That's right.
I'm
For those
close to the camera. Sorry about that.
I'm a little far away because that's how I do. For those curious, yes, this is the HickoryTDAU Nutcracker. If you want to just slide a good old ball in here. I should probably paint a face on him at some point, but we haven't gotten there yet. He does have a custom hat though. We're gonna take the hat off, but he's got the hat on. You know what I mean?
You should put a beard on it.
Probably should. I mean, that being said, there's probably a lot of things I should do. I just kind of painted him hickory colors. The black, white, and orange. We got a little silver on the drum and the pants. I should have broken out the tree this year, but I didn't. Oh, it's sitting right over there in the closet. Yeah, it's here. That being said, I never took down the Jason masks for Halloween, which I still haven't painted. That was the idea. I bought those in like September. The idea, because I want to, at some point, I want to paint them, make them look good. I did keep, for my last birthday, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Morpher. To be clear, that's on screen. It does something. I can't remember. Oh no, I got to take it out of the Morpher belt. Pretty sure it does something. Oh, like it opens up, and if I had batteries in it, it would light up like it did in the show. And I would be like, Dragon Sword! Oh. Oh yeah, it's got a back. Dragon Sword! Or whatever. Yeah, I'm a dork. GW, you ever watch, much, Power Rangers?
I watched, like, the first couple seasons.
I mean, the first 3 are the only ones that really matter.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I was around like 12 or 13 when that came out. So like I was still kind of like watching cartoons, but like starting to realize that like there's other things in the world like boobs.
This one's cool. And Ninja Turtles. Trying to get the sheen off there. Ninja Turtles Power Rangers cross up. This is Shredder and the Green Ranger. Cross together. It's the only reason I own this toy is because like I was like, dude, that is so cool that they did a crossover. And to be the Green Ranger and Shredder mixed together is just like, damn.
Well, the new one for this year is He-Man, and that got me a couple times where I'm like, ooh, I could buy these toys.
This one was from last year. My wife got me for Christmas. It's not movie accurate, but it's Michelangelo and Raphael's get up from Ninja Turtles 2. Where he this one was inspired by the 1990 movie. Mikey in Disguise, the Ninja Elite series. Which still my favorite Turtles, man.
I love it.
Yeah. John said how to work with these assets. I mean, how to twerk with these assets. No, Turtles still one of my favorites. I can't hate on that. Like, as much as I hate what they've done in the series and like the modern adaptations of it, I'm like, I can't wait for I've heard rumors that they're gonna make a Last Ronin movie. And I'm fucking stoked for it. Like, I really hope they do. You are you familiar with Last Ronin, G-Dubs?
That's the one where like Michelangelo is the last one standing, and
whoa! Spoiler alerts. We don't know which turtle it is. No, I don't know. To be honest, I haven't read the entire thing, so I'm not entirely sure. But I know there's one turtle left. It could be Mikey. I'd prefer it was Mikey, to be honest, but I'm not are you 100% sure on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should have spoiler.
So there's one turtle left, and all the other turtles have been killed off, and you have no idea which one it is because he carries all of their weapons. And he wears like a mask that's like black, I think. Like a nondescript mask. And he's basically trying to avenge his brothers and Splinter. And it's set like in the future in a dystopian New York, which I feel like all of the original Turtles films were set in. It was like a dystopian New York where like, I mean, to be honest, it's modern day New York, right? Like the dystopian New York is like, yeah, there's probably some guy who identifies as a Shredder-like character who controls the crime in that city at this point. Like, it's such a poorly run shithole that wouldn't surprise me at all. But it's basically modern day New York, and that's where Last Ronin is set up. And after 3 turtles to get killed, there's 1 remaining. Sean said, "Are you going to build a cabinet to keep your toys from the boy? He's going to want to play with the potato head." Mark my words. Yeah, he won't be allowed access to the studio for a couple of years, not gonna lie. There's some fairly adult stuff that goes on in this place, and I don't need. Yeah, it'll be a couple years, but no, at some point, probably not these ones because I'm like, there's a reason I haven't removed them from the package. Like, had I not cared about them, and I was just like, they're just toys, I would have put them out like on display in the setup. But
Yeah.
no, like there's something I don't know special about keeping them boxed. It's like RuPaul's Duck Race. I haven't removed that one, even though I did remove. I got a couple turtles. Speaking of turtles, I've shared those on the show. I got a couple turtle ducks. I got Donatello and Mikey sitting on top of RuPaul. But yeah, those little ducks probably cost me too much. They didn't have the full set, man. They had Raph too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to buy Raph unless they got Leo in the full set. I'm just going to get Mikey and Donnie. Those two are. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. My Frankenfurter duck.
Dude, that's so good.
It is 173 out of 5,000. Second edition.
Oh, that's so good.
2002. Wow. I wish I kept a box for it. I didn't.
That time of night, we got to share a couple memes on the show.
Oh,
Ready for some meme sharing, G-dubs?
absolutely.
The anarchist view, this is from Michael Mouse. The anarchist view is the political parties are literal rival gangs. That's right, the Bloods and the Crips. That one killed me. That's right. For those not aware, that's Mitch McConnell being rolled around in the second one. It's only funny because it's true. This one killed me too. Like my government, how feminists like their men, weakened to the point of only performing basic functions. Absolutely savage. This one killed me. The Babylon Bee ringing in hard. McDonald's surpasses FBI in number of shooters apprehended in 2024. That's right. That's a Luigi joke right there. Oh,
What do you make of that? Like, I haven't talked to you in a while, but like, so I don't know. But what do you think of that whole situation?
On the flip side, as much as I don't care, I do think it's gross when people like advocate for murder. You know what I mean? Like there's like a certain line where I'm like, as much as like I don't care about some CEO that I've never met, I don't know. The fact that there's like an outcrying and like putting this dude on shirts and talking about how much people like him is just kind of weird. And I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, I'm like torn in between the right and the left stance, I guess, or the two stances in general. It also seems funny to me that the same people who like are like, yeah, I'm glad he did this, are also like, yeah, we need more gun control. Like that seems fucking weird to me too. It's like the same people who are like cool with a guy with a ghost gun, which don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-ghost gun at all. I think that like your right as American citizens should not be infringed. You should be able to 3D print or mill whatever the hell you want in your garage. Unbeknownst to me, like I'm way further pro 2A on the law than the law is. Like I don't think there should be like any bans on suppressors. I don't think there should be anything preventing you from getting military grade hardware. Because I think that if you were intending to do ill will with those things, you should probably not be in normal, polite society. That's kind of my thought is like, yeah, there's like a self selection for that where like if you've proven yourself not to be a human being who can work in normal society with access to the tools that you've been given, like maybe you shouldn't be in society. I'm not saying those people should be like exiled or killed or anything, just to be clear. Uh, I'm saying like, yeah, you can't conduct yourself as an adult. Mitch McConnell won a gold medal in the face diving event. Too soon, Sean. Too soon. So, well, the story of change the CEO had been Fauci. I believe my point of view may have been skewed. No, like my point of view wouldn't have changed because I would prefer those people be brought to justice and trotted out in front of the public and all of their crimes made public. I think, like, I feel like that would be more healthy and reformative for the American people than just them getting shot in the back in a cold, dark street in New York City on camera. But maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Here's the problem, though, and I'm not condoning murder or any sort of thing like that.
As no one would.
Yeah.
To be clear, any sane person would.
The justice system doesn't work that way. Like
I
what they're doing is legal.
I can. The Epstein list hasn't been released, my friend. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
The justice system is it's broken. And it's broken in favor of people like him. No, I totally understood. On the flip side, like, the other weird part is people complaining or comparing him to, like, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, all of a sudden the right doesn't like vigilante justice. I'm like, that wasn't vigilante justice. Like, if you go back and watch the Rittenhouse video, it's like him clearly defending himself against three people who came after him. And I'm not like,
Sorry.
no, you're fine.
My dog's freaking out.
And I'm not by any way saying what Rittenhouse did was good, but in the same position, if I was put in a spot where I had to defend myself, I can't say that I would do the same. That being said, shooting somebody in the back in the streets of New York City is not self-defense. You know, like, this is the same city that it spent millions of dollars tracking down the killer of a CEO. Well, it also spent millions of dollars going after Daniel Penny, who was just a guy on a bus defending other people on the bus, and the other people on the bus, including people of color, to be clear. And a person of color helped hold down the person that Daniel Penny held down, and that guy ran away and hid from police for a week, and then eventually got a plea deal to sit on the stand against Daniel Penny, even though he engaged in the act of supposedly killing this man. Even though that guy was still alive when the cops got there. Yeah, it's just a weird. Anyways, long story short, I don't give a shit about CEOs, but I also think vigilante justice is a dark road we don't want to go down in this country. And to see a bunch of people crying for it and supporting it is mildly terrifying. Because this might be the path we go down before this country just, devolves into that. Like, before, like, seeing people cheer for the murder of somebody on the street feels like I kind of live in Gotham now. And there's going to be no Batman. There is no Joker. And there is no Scarecrow. And it's just mildly nerve-wracking that, like, that could be what we go into. Because as a guy who generally abides by the law and is also mildly strapped up, I mean by the guitars I play, just to be clear, for any FBI informant watching this video. As anybody who's mildly strapped up, like I don't want to deal with that shit. Like I want to be in a polite society where like we don't treat each other like trash. I want to live in a society where we act like everybody's got a fucking submachine gun underneath their jacket, and everybody's real fucking polite and nice and kind. I realize that's not the reality we live in, but I wish we could get back to more semblance of that. Sorry, that was a long ramble on that, G-Dubs. You got anything?
No worries. That's what we do here. We talk. And sorry for the interruption.
That's quite all right. Your wiener can interrupt anytime.
Well, yeah, but I don't want him like barking and like. I live in an apartment complex.
No, that's fair. We're not worried about the audience. Worried about the neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 'cause the audience doesn't care. They like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have a different take on that? Like, were you? Not that anybody is going to condone murder on this show. Just to be clear. But no, if you had a different take, like I'm not opposed to that. Like I'm genuinely curious because like I love you, and I would love to have like a genuine conversation on this one because it is a very polarizing subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not celebrating the fact that like he died, but it's kind of one of those fuck around and find out moments.
That's fair.
Like you do these horrible things to people, like it's karma. Like it's he lived his life in such a way that he became a villain in someone's story. And that should be a moral that we tell people that like greed itself is terrible. The pursuit of simply money for money's sake is terrible. You need to live your life full of meaning and consciousness. And I know that sounds kind of like hippy dippy, but like it's very like you have to be moral in this world or bad things will happen. And like that's where I get like the religious tones to it.
That's fair.
But like yeah, like he purposely oversaw thousands of people and their suffering and their demise. He oversaw that, and he made money from their deaths.
Yep.
So there's that part of me where it's like, well, you got lucky because you were there. Like it was instantaneous for you, pretty much, compared to having to drag out.
Yeah, then dealing with an untreatable disease for 6 months and watching your family watch you waste away to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I can sympathize with that. That makes sense to me. On the flip side, I would love to see that person like brought to actual. And don't get me wrong, I'm not under like the fever dream or the births. I'm not under the disillusion that like we still have justice or proper justice in this country anymore. Because after watching all the lawsuits and shit go back and forth in the past like 10 years, like I'm broken on that. Like, I don't think we have an actual justice system who works for anybody anymore. Like, it benefits criminals more than it benefits people who actually stand up and like stand for law. But I would have loved to see him like actually serve his day.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders because like I don't know if it's true, but I have seen online that he was about to go in front of Congress and testify about insider trading. Whether or not he would have actually given up anything that would have impacted anything, I don't know. Can't say. I have no insider trading details on that whole one. But Sean's got a good comment. He says, I believe it's highly possible he was silenced by powers that were greater than him. That's what I'm saying. Is that, from what I've heard, he was going to go on the stand and talk about his role in insider trading a few weeks after he was deleted. But I also don't know. You know, like maybe that could have been his redeeming arc point. Like he could have thrown a bunch of people who made it possible for him to be a fucking scumbag under the bus. I don't know. Yeah, but I do agree with you, Jebs. I don't feel a whole lot of sympathy for him. Like, I feel bad for his family. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel bad
anybody in
for the
that
kids.
situation. Yeah,
Fuck his
the
wife.
kids. I mean, and who knows, like, it's hard to say I don't feel bad for his wife, because, like, who knows how much he knew? You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like, I have a wife, and she doesn't know, literally, she knows, like, 5% about what I do at work, to be fair. Like she knows that, like, in my professional life, I run a meat and seafood department. She has, like, no idea what actually goes into it. Like, she has no idea about, like, the amount of sourcing I do, or, like, the amount of effort I go into to make things that are, like, humanely sourced as far as meat goes, or, like, ethically sourced as far as meat and seafood go. Like, she doesn't know any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be selling, like, human meat, and she would not even know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, like, part of me is like, yeah, she got to benefit from, like, his lifestyle as that CEO, but, like, to be honest, she might have only known like 5% of what he was actually doing. That being said, he was in such a high
What part
profile
of that
position.
5%, though?
He was in such a high profile position that I imagine it was hard for her not to see, like, a fucking headline. Like, my wife doesn't see headlines about what I do at work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like CNN is, like, running, like, a local seafood manager at a store in Vermont is denying people access to mussels, you know? Like, you know, and mussels might be the only thing that prevent them from dying from their, yeah, like, she doesn't have to see that. So,
Yeah.
no, there's probably a bit more blame on her, a little less sympathy deserved, but as a guy with a wife, I also understand that, like, yeah, my wife barely knows, like, what I do at work. And I kind of like it that way, because I don't talk about work at home. Like, that's, like, the last thing I want to do. It's like, I'm not a chick. I don't want to come home from work and talk about work for 2 hours. Like, I want to get home from work and, like, forget that I fucking work there. And, like, work on my fun projects and, like, and pretend that's what I do for a living. You know what I mean? Like, I get home from work, I want to, like, take a shower and get high, and then come in the studio and be like, oh yeah, I'm a rock star. I produce music for a living. What are we working on next? Or like, oh yeah, no, I'm a video game developer today. I'm gonna work on this fucking map for gameplay that I'll never play. Or I want to shoot some video for a music video. Or I want to work on a video for TDAU YouTube page, which I've been slacking off on for the past 6 months, which should be coming back in January, just to be clear. Should be doing more reactions then. We'll see what happens after the holidays die down. But yeah, it's like not that I ever want to come home and be like, yeah, here, hon, this is everything I've ever done at work. That being
No.
said, not giving the wife a free pass.
I get that. But yeah, so that reminded me of the conversation I had. Like, I'm a student. I work at a coffee shop. Like, I have a really boring life. And I had a conversation with a stranger. And the stranger asked me what I was doing in Vermont. And I was like, oh, a film of mine is being shown. And then I'm in a comedy show later in the week. And I heard oh, cool. And I was like, fuck yeah, buddy. That's the life right there. That's
I hear
what I
that.
want to live.
Sean says that moral for me to pay for all this widespread crime with my taxes. Not really, but there's not a lot that we can do about it without the threat of being at gunpoint, I suppose. The government is merely a representation of the masses. All that crime has become ours, our karma. It's appalling. I'm ashamed I cannot do anything about it. Well, hopefully we have done something about it. That I'm not entirely hopeful, but I'm hopeful that the next 4 years might be a little less crimey.
Not going to happen.
Probably not, but I'm just trying to stay hopeful about it. Being said, in the next meme we got this little chubby kid with this person who kind of looks like they're created on AI up here. Not gonna lie. In a relationship with Desiree Marie. Today with Desiree Marie. She needed some papers, so I married her. Tale as old as time. Down in the comments we got, ain't have to put my business out there like that. To which Joe responded, shut up and make me a bologna sandwich. And that's why I still love the internet, my friends. It's things like that. Like make me smile just day to day. Things like this make me not like the internet. From Liz's TikTok. Holy shit. Government-sponsored lawfare targeting political opponents. These are the same people who called us a threat to democracy. From Mario Nafal. Biden paid Reuters $300 million for targeting Elon's companies. Biden administration gave $300 million in government contracts to Reuters. 11 government agencies investigated Elon's business. Tesla, SpaceX, and X. Oh, skipped around. 2024, Reuters staff won the Pulitzer Prize for national reporting for their work on Elon Musk and misconduct at the businesses, including SpaceX, Tesla, and Neuralink as well. Yeah, here's a map spelling out what all the different cabinets and independent agencies that investigated all of his businesses were doing. It's a map, and I can't quite read it right now, but that's Reuters spending, looking into things. Yeah, and Reuters getting a bunch of money over the past couple of years. Yeah, one of those, yeah. If only 10% of what Trump would like done is done, that'd be over the top amazing in my opinion, but I'm of course realistic and knowing it's a pipe dream. I agree, my friend. That was one of those things I said at my my Thanksgiving. They asked me what I was thankful for, G-dubs. And my two things were, I'm glad that we're kind of finally deport the invaders. And everybody gasped. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad that I finally pumped a baby into the old lady. And they gasped again. And I was like, hey, I got it out of the way. Now anybody can say whatever they're thankful for at the Thanksgiving table. The sad part is I didn't have to lie to make everybody gasp 2 times at Thanksgiving. John said the deep state is directly under threat to defend themselves. They continue using soft power, or they'll go directly to hard power. Yeah, it's a very real possibility. We'll see what happens. TDAU Live will be back in January. I don't even know what that date was, just to see. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be back on January 8th, so it'll be just after January 6th. We'll see what happens then. Could be an interesting time to be streaming. How do you think what do you think goes on in the next couple months from now until the next time I'm live? Business as usual.
It's gonna be a witch hunt. He's gonna be like within the first week he gets. Oh no, he has control of.
Oh yeah,
Orphans control everything.
Yeah, House, Senate, Supreme Court, and legislature. Like we might actually, by we, not like I'm a member of the fucking GOP, but he being Trump might actually get something done this time around.
No,
I mean, I'm not saying it's likely because there's still a bunch of neocons in office who will railroad him at any point, but there's a chance.
Mitch McConnell's still there.
Well, as we saw earlier, Mitch McConnell's getting wheeled around in a wheelchair, so who knows how much longer. Although, to be fair, that's the way Dianne Feinstein was for like 2 years before she died and gave up her office. So who knows?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's still pulling strings.
John said, "See you at the Capitol, my man." Yeah, not a chance in fucking hell I would go to the Capitol at any point, let alone around the election. I saw January 6th on TV and was like, God, I'm glad I never thought even thought about going down there. So I'll promise it'll be mostly peaceful. Yeah, like the first one, but we might see January 6th 2.0.
That
It'll be considered mostly peaceful by CNN, no matter what happens, to be clear.
I think it's gonna be a lot more crying.
Yes, the Rees will be able to be heard for many a mile.
Yeah. Antifa is going to make an appearance again.
As they did in 2017. And then they rioted and then they got a payout.
Yeah.
Because they all dressed the same. So nobody could prove who anybody was. So they got like a wrongful suit claim and got paid out a bunch. So, yeah, I'm just saying, you're on the right. Take lessons, kids. Mask up, my friends. All dressed the same. You guys figure out like American flag suit. I don't know. But
No, do the same thing that they do.
Yeah, you gotta dress all the same. The last meme of the night, this one shared from Elon Musk. Ever seen a bigger piece of pork? Yeah, this is the latest funding bill to get floated. And what's going to happen is basically we have until the 20th, which is Friday. And when there's not enough people willing to vote on this 1,500 plus page bill that I'm sure funds a bunch of bullshit that nobody wants, because that's how they work these bills, is you work in a few things like, oh, we're going to fund the government, we're going to fund this and fund that everybody's a fan of, and then we're going to throw in 30 projects that are just our pet projects. I'm sure that like only 5 people are going to actually read through this thing. But this is a 1,500 page bill, and what's basically going to happen is this got set in front of everybody in DC today, or maybe tomorrow. And they're going to have to read this, which they won't, and then they're going to have to vote it on it by Friday. And basically, what's going to happen is on Friday, they're all going to say, hey, if you guys don't vote yes, you're going to have to stay here over Christmas break and New Year's until we come up with a bill that works. Or you can all vote for this and go home for the holidays. Which seems very, I don't know, grade schoolian of me of the whole process. Like, it's funny that's how it works. And it's so blatant and open in front of us that Congress is supposed to recess on the 20th. And meanwhile, this stack of horse shit is what's being presented to them today.
Yeah. That's our government in action.
Which makes you wonder why there isn't more efforts to go after the people that do this shit instead of CEOs who are, enabled by this shit.
Because they have security.
Sean said Omnibus is doomed from the get-go, but if you think that's going to stop it from passing, I have a bridge I can sell you. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably like another 10 million to fund gender studies in Pakistan and all the other stupid shit that we've spent money on, like studies to see if fish are more aggressive when they're on cocaine or not. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of things from this that will be on the wasteful spending bill that Rand Paul draws up every year. But yeah, just a friendly reminder that your state rep is voting on a piece of shit this big who hasn't read it, who will just vote for it. So, when you're wondering why you vote, just look at a stack of paper that big and be like, how long would it take me to read that? Yeah, what? Fucking 10, 15, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days to read that? And meanwhile, my state representative is going to vote on that in 2 days? Yeah, I'm sure he read through the entire thing.
Well, no, but that's why you pay people to read it for you.
Sean said Jose Ramaswamy read it from front to back. He is appalled. Yeah, I mean, said Vivek, not Jose. Yeah, no, I don't blame him because most of it's crap. This stack of papers is only to keep the government funded through March, to be clear. Yeah, 1,500 pages to keep the government funded through March. But it seems like they could have voted on a bill that just said, hey, we're going to keep the government funded through March, and it would have been like 10 pages that everybody could read. But no, we got to work on a bunch of special interest shit. Mind-boggling, G-dubs.
But it keeps the paper companies employed.
Yeah, even though a while ago we were sold the dream to switch over from plastic to plastic from paper to save the trees. Here we are at a time where they're saying plastic's bad. We need to switch back to paper. We went from plastic straws wrapped in paper to paper straws wrapped in plastic. It took, oh God, I wish I could remember the meme. It took $20 billion, 4 presidents, and 10 special missions to take Afghanistan from the Taliban to give it back to the Taliban. And that's like a perfect pseudonym for American government efficiency.
There's a certain part of me that's like, maybe we should become more isolationist. Let's focus inward.
That sounds terribly Republican of you, G-dubs. Are you implying we should be America first?
That's not what I said.
isolationist and inward facing sounds like.
No, it's not.
Okay, fair.
I'm talking about like taking away like all special interests from all countries and ceasing like talking to anyone till we work on ourselves.
Sean said U.S. pharmaceutical companies are the biggest purchasers of opium and cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah, it surprised me. That's only because the cartels now are focused on fentanyl in humans. Right. Pharmaceutical industries behind the eight ball.
Oh, trust me, they got people going back and forth.
That's why we're so interested in Afghanistan. Yeah. Opium fields. The fields of grain.
So I hate to be that guy, but I really gotta get going.
That's quite all right. We've been an hour and 20 minutes on the show.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you, GW. No, thank you. I don't know when to stop myself. I'm glad you have a guy like you to stop the show for me. Sean, thank you for being here. As always. G-Dubs, it was good to catch up with you. Talk some shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm glad I could set everything up in time.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that you have a setup back up and running.
Yeah.
It was sad times there for a little while.
Yes.
To be fair, I reached out to GW like a month ago, and to be perfectly clear, he fell over while working on his rig and spilled coffee all over it.
Yeah.
And some stuff didn't work anymore. So sad times. And that was like a moment where I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to have G-Dubs back on for a while. And they hit me up earlier today and was like, hey, what are you doing? It's like eating a sandwich with my wife and then doing the show. What are you doing? I'm doing the show. I was like, let me be on. Might not have gone down exactly that way. But that was how it worked in my head. I heard him be like, yeah, let me come on. I was like, dude, you're welcome any fucking time you want. Let's invite Pierre. No Christmas Santa suit involved. Because I was too lazy to set up Sloppy Santa this year. Or Saucy Santa. That's why I'm wearing the Santa suit. And I'm like 110 degrees right now. So it's a good thing you called it. Because I'm getting dehydrated. Probably should drink a few waters before I go to bed. I'll tell you. Sean said, love you guys. Good to talk to you and see you. Keep your powder dry and your woman wet. Amen, brother. Although, to be fair, like I already pumped a baby in mine. I don't have to do shit. I just get to sit here the next 6 months. Don't get me wrong. I may. But on the flip side, like, I have to. I'm kind of off the hook for a little while. I did what I was intended to do, right? I fulfilled my role. I spent 2.5 years trying to knock her up, and I finally nailed it. I feel like I have a little reprieve, you know. I can focus on some me time until that baby comes out, and that's all about him time. But one last one. Oh my God, you're so delusional. You're not off the hook at any stretch of the imagination. Just mark my words. No, I know, but I mean, like for a couple months, I'm like, yeah, you can just enjoy your back pain and everything you signed up for, honey buns. I'll be in the studio doing shit until I don't have any free time to myself anymore. What Sean said, laughing emojis. Fair enough. Anyways, G-Dubs, thank you for being here, brother. I love you, man.
Absolutely, man. I love you too, buddy.
And it was great to see you. We did roast a Die Hard this past week. It's phenomenal to see GW in person. And to be honest, I hugged this motherfucker so hard in the lobby that people started laughing because I wouldn't let go. That was like one of my favorite moments in the night. Was I hugged you so long that people around us started laughing. I was like, yeah, this is what it feels like to be in a rom-com right now. I was like, when's the music start playing? I can't let go yet. GW, come back when you can stay longer.
Absolutely.
GW's welcome to come back anytime. He can stay anytime, to be clear. If it's 5 minutes, brother, you got anytime you want on the show. But that being said, this is the last episode until next year. So thank you guys for joining me. We'll probably be back on TDU Live episode 1 of season 2. Because, I probably should have cut it at Thanksgiving, but we didn't. Because that was when I started TDU Live, the solo show. I'll be back in January. It's going to be, January 8th? Yeah, should be going on. There should be plenty to talk about from over the holidays, but I will not be live on Christmas Eve or New Year's Day. Or Christmas or New Year's Day, just to be clear. We'll be back in January. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm, of course, HickoryTDAU. I appreciate each and every one of you for dropping by. This is my good friend, my comrade, my boy, Mr. GW Foley. That's right. Go check him out at Foley Kills. Go check some of his short films, some of which may feature me. No, not Santa Claus. Hickory the Drunken Underwoman. And our good friend Pierre. And some other familiar faces. Maybe not familiar. I should have other people from your shorts on. Anyways, that's all I got. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. I hope you all have a very, very Merry Christmas. Fuck that Happy Holidays bullshit, just to be clear. We're a Merry Christmas family around this bitch. I got a lawnmower Christmas ornament nowadays for MC Molasses hanging up there. We got a nutcracker that's dressed like me when I'm not dressed like Santa. And GW, I love you, man. I hope you have a beautiful holiday season. It's all the family. Our family to yours. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Likewise. I appreciate
it. I know it's gonna be a little weird to have Christmas without snow for the first time ever. But if you're jonesing, let me know. I'll send you a photo.
I'm good. I've had Christmas without snow before. I'm totally
GW's on them. GW's on them no shovel holidays.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, man. That's the worst part about living up here is all this fucking shoveling.
Yeah.
Until next time, sign out for GW Foley. I'm of course HickoryTDAU and underwhelming. Until next time, stay dank, stay underwhelming. Most importantly, in trying times, stay sane. Enjoy the holidays and Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. We'll see you in January. Dank Magician out.
Above all else, I just want to say thank you. Have a beautiful night. Drunk Magician out. Cheers. Now let's get the credits. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the help. 'Cause this is a show I do by myself. I produce the shit myself.